Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about why you should be trying to farm a Servant Assassin. So, as with the most recent collab events, we actually have special dungeons to farm, which will drop special collab farming pieces. From those pieces, you can monster exchange them upwards to acquire the highest rarity card, which is Saber's Game Piece, and that will allow you to acquire a Servant Assassin. Now, Servant Assassin, like Yu-Gi-Oh, is an invaluable card to own for farming purposes, and even if it's not your priority at this point in time, it does not hurt to actually have this card in your monster box right now in case things change in the future. His active skill is quite unique and it fulfills two different components, and it can make farming certain dungeons significantly easier. So while you can farm the dungeon for the special drop pieces, you are able to exchange rainbow event medals at a 1-to-1 ratio for the Saber's Game Piece, and you require 5 of those game pieces to acquire Servant Assassin. So in theory, if you have no interest in farming and tons of rainbow event medals, you could monster exchange. So why is Servant Assassin so desirable? And the reason for that is for his active skill. His active skill changes the second row from the top and bottom into wood orbs. So a double row maker of the same color is significantly more valuable than a double row maker that makes 2 different colors. The reason for this is that you are able to use them across a wider variety of teams. Because he's making wood orbs, if you can use this in conjunction with a full mono board of fire, water, light, or dark, and you can basically create an 18-12 split and rearrange them into whatever pattern you feel is best for your team and allows you to have this high level of consistency. Further, in addition to that, there's also a 200 times attack to a single enemy, which is affected by enemies' element and defense. So basically, this active skill combines 2 components. You have the double row making and a 200 times button nuke. But this is not a regular 200 times button nuke. This button nuke actually changes color based on the card that is actually using it. So you inherit this onto a fire attribute card. You're dealing 200 times fire attack damage. So that can allow you to have elemental advantage, which is 400 times damage. So as with Yu-Gi-Oh, which was from the Sword Art Online collab, we have access to another double row maker, and basically the idea is you always have this 18-12 distributed board. You have this perfect level of consistency and you always know what you're going to have. And because of that, you're able to rearrange the board into whatever pattern you feel is necessary for your team. There's that great degree of consistency, there's no variation, and it's just going to be significantly easier to play through dungeons repeatedly, because in all honesty at this point in time, farming content efficiently and quickly and mindlessly has become very important, because oftentimes we have to repeat ourselves over and over again. Like right now when I'm farming this dungeon, I'm actually using my Yu-Gi-Ohs to form the rows in order to overcome the combo shields and the VDP at the same time. So for example, if you are going to be using a double row maker, this 18-12 board can be broken up into a 7 combo VDP, which is naturally perfect for Almond teams, and Almond is one of the more desirable farming leaders at this point in time, so having access to yet another farmable double row maker is incredibly valuable. And the second component of this active skill is the 200 times color changing nuke. So up until this collab, all button style active skills have been a fixed color. They've either been like, it's always going to be dealing dark damage, always going to be dealing light damage. But this card here is 200 times attack, and it's 200 times attack of the card that is using it. So if you're obviously using Servant Assassin, you're getting wood damage, but let's say you inherit them on top of a fire attribute card. Now you are dealing 200 times fire damage, and this allows you to have effectively 400 times attack damage, because you always can choose to have color advantage, and that is going to open up significantly more doors when playing through various content, because you're now dealing the maximum amount of damage possible. So while it is still not the highest nuke available in the game, like we have 300 times button nukes at this point in time, you get the fact that you can change and vary the color will help out certain farming builds. It can greatly ease team building compositions, and it's just going to be a nice card to have. And remember, because this is farmable, it's not going to cost you magic stones, it's worth to actually acquire. And speaking of acquiring, Servant Assassin can be acquired through the monster exchange system, and you basically need 5 Saber's Game pieces. And once you have 5 of those, you are able to trade in for Servant Assassin, but you can trade rainbow event medals at a 1-to-1 ratio. So basically you could spend 5 rainbow event medals for a Saber's Game piece. Now, in all honesty, if you are able to farm the dungeon, you have the time and the stamina to do so, I would do that for the duration of the event because, well, it is farmable. It's not going to be hindering your progression, so to speak, because, well, you're not going to be setting magic stones. But let's say you run out of time, you were kind of lazy, or just had no motivation to actually play the dungeon itself, and you have copious amounts of rainbow event medals lying around. Maybe you can utilize some of those to exchange. So let's say you played the event on and off, and you manage to acquire 3 Saber's game pieces. At the end of the event, use those rainbow event medals, get your servant assassin, be done with it. Of course, in an ideal world, you don't use your rainbow event medals, but at this point in time, it's quite likely we have over 20 plus because, well, there's not too many different things to actually spend them on at this point in time. So, in conclusion, Servant Assassin is an invaluable card to own for this incredibly powerful dual-purpose active skill. Double monocolor row making combined with a 200 times color changing button nuke is incredibly powerful, and it's well priced, so to speak, at a 15 turn cooldown, and the fact that we can farm and acquire it makes it worth your time and effort. So let me know what you think about this card in the comments below, and whether or not you plan on farming him, as well as where you actually plan on actually utilizing them in future content. Hopefully you all have a Mantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pet adventures, and happy puzzling.